So hello and welcome to the fourth of these videos. You'll notice that straight away you can see that there's something different that's advanced from the last video. I've actually put the title of the magazine here and some more text on. Rather than show you how to do that, I thought I'd just get that bit done and then I can just rehash how I did it on the key points in this. The first things to notice is I've used a particular bold font. I've also coloured that text using colours from my swatch, which was this blue. I've then incorporated that blue and some black that I'm also choosing to use in all of the text here. This particular font here is something I downloaded, so if we're going to have a look at this, this is actually something called Monday Blues. It's center aligned. Center aligned are within this box, and also the box goes from the inner margin at one side to the other side. And then if we look at this one at the top here, the box going across there is also center aligned. But then what I've done is I've left aligned the text within that box. So that's enabled this, if we just click off of there, that's enabled this here to line up. So if I do a Control plus and then come up here, you'll see that this is all lining up down here on this left margin. And you really want that to happen. That's really, really important, is that alignment there based on CRAP principles. So the good thing about using this particular font here, which is a Franklin Gothic font, is that it has different weights. So this is Franklin Gothic Heavy. This is Franklin Gothic Medium. So same font, but different weights. And that allows me to differentiate between what's important and what's not important, and not go throughout the document. It's a different font to here. When you're choosing a title font, you want something bold and in your face. Now I've chose to put September edition. You may choose to do issue number or something like that, and I've chose to use like a strap line, everything for education. You may not do that. You may do something else, as you can see in an example I'm going to show you in a minute. So in order to do text, I'll just do Control minus, take this down a bit. So in order to do text, you don't want to be clicking on here and writing. You want to be clicking in the grey part, drawing a box across, and then starting to write like that. Just do Control Z and get rid of that. Okay, so that's the sort of way you want to be writing. You always work in the grey part of the side. So let's focus on what I want you to do now, or what you should be doing now. If we have a look at an example here, and I brought in just a screenshot of it, we can see that on this particular example there, they've chose to do a month similar to mine. They put voted Australia's best food magazine rather than a strap line like I've got. But we've got a similar example. They've just chose to use a divider there. You can do that if you want. But notice how the different weights of the font, that's probably bold and not bold, or it may just be a different way of a font. But the title is much bigger than this bit at the top, and it's also much bigger than these headings. What I want you to focus now is getting these headliner articles down the side of the page here. But notice how they line up. So everything should be lining up along the same left margin, which is your inner margin of your page, if you've followed the instructions in the last one. Notice that the font here needs to be big, but not as big as the title. It's using this color here, which is quite handy for the way that this one's done, because they've used a dark purple there and a light purple there, so they can go light dark throughout, and that purple also comes in here from the image, and that's the beauty of having a swatch that you put together and being able to do that. Notice how they've used capitalization here and then non-capitalization here. You can choose to do that or not choose to do that. It makes this sort of shout out, which is what those headlines sort of are supposed to do. So just briefly coming back to here, following the same sort of principles, if I've got a text box here and I draw across here, I'm going to do capitalization, and I'm going to do something like teacher. I'll just make it a little bit bigger so you can actually see it. Okay, so teacher of, and I've just pressed enter there because I don't want it going across the page. Okay, so before I actually move it across, I'm going to mess about with the font. So if you remember, I said Franklin Gothic was what I was using for the other one. I'm going to use Franklin Gothic Heavy for that one there. Okay, I am going to make it even bigger because I know that my title font's about I think it's, I don't know whether it's 70 odd or something like that. So I'm going to bring it to here, but I've just noticed that this box here is actually too big, so I'll take that up a bit. Okay, it doesn't really make any difference in terms of how it's going to work, but it'll just allow me to line that up a bit better. That's probably a bit too close, so I'll bring it down a bit more. I may change that as I go on, but for now that's fine. I'll also move that up there like that to give it a bit more space, or to know exactly what I'm doing there. So Teacher of the Year Awards is my shout out there, my headline. That's the equivalent of the sort of thing that's gone on there. And then I'm going to actually leave that in black. I'm going to make sure over here that it is left aligned, which it is, and it's in this line down there, and it's on that margin there. So if I click off that and we go Control plus again to zoom in, we can see that everything is aligned down there, and this is the same font as that font. Should I choose to put an outline around that in that blue, I may do that. I can mess about with that if I want to get it right. And then under there I'll just do Control minus again. Under there, I want that sort of introduction to the article. So you've got the shout out here in terms of this subtitle, and then I'm looking for that idea of giving a feel of what exactly I'm talking about in that article, or leading into that article there. So if I draw across again, I'll just make that bigger again. Okay, so you can read it. Teacher of the Year Awards. I'm not going to make this capitalized, so I'll put if I could spell recognition. If I could spell, yep, recognition for the best in the. And don't forget, we don't want it going too far across the page, so just press the enter there. Recognition for the best in the business. Highlight across it again. Come to the font choices, and I want this to be Franklin Gothic again, which somehow managed to lose, but I'll find it now. Franklin Gothic. Okay, so I may choose to go with just the may choose the demi one like that, recognition for the best in the business. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this across to here and put this here, and I can straight away see that, yeah, it's a bit lost really. It's a bit too small. I'm just going to make sure that's lined up. Doesn't matter whether it's lined up with that box really, but it's a bit too small, and it's probably not the best choice of that font. But let's make it bigger. So it's a demi condensed one, so that one I don't really like. So I might just do demi like that. See what that looks like. So that's not bad. If I want to have a look at how it actually looks without all those lines across it, I go to view up here in screen mode and go preview. That's how it begins to look. This box here in the background is beginning to cause me a little bit of problem in terms of contrast color clash, but maybe that's something I'll deal with as I go further on. But we've immediately got this idea of a shout out or a headline, and then an introduction to what that's going to talk about. Okay, and we've got this lined up down the side, and I want you to do a few of them so that they come down the page. Okay, this one here, I'm showing you a couple of them, but it actually has about 4 of them, something like that. So you're looking to go 1, 2, maybe 3 of them down there, and leaving space to do a banner going across there at the bottom, and leaving some space to put such things as a barcode at the bottom and those kinds of things. So you need to begin thinking about what you're going to put here and how it's going to line up, and yeah, and getting that in, and that's the next job to do really. Okay.